Hello everybody and welcome to Stone and Void. I'm your host Jay Phillips, joined as always with Don Bowie.
Hey.
Patrick Collins. And I know last time we got a little caught up with, what was that, alarm going off or something at the end of the video?
Yeah.
For anybody who made it to the end of last video. We had a lot of things going on last week, unfortunately, so we tried to cut our losses at that point and just leave. After the spoilers have finished up, though, we don't really have much to talk about anyway, so we can definitely just go right back into what we were talking about, which was your deck at the time.
Kaguya.
Yeah, which has been pretty awesome. We had already discussed your deck a little bit in length last time.
Oh yeah, I was switching decks like none other. Like,
yeah.
I'm just so unsatisfied with everything I'm playing with. It's pretty bad. It's like only 2 more weeks.
Yeah, it's really, really close. I'm still super sad I won't be joining you guys there. So hi to everybody who's going that I'm not going to go see. Yeah, I feel really ready for this tournament, and I've barely been testing for it. You guys are the ones actually going, which, small tier.
I mean, you just started playing with my deck, and you're like, oh, I'm ready for the tournament.
No, okay, I tested
He's been playing with Kaguya for a while.
And I've been playing with Kaguya for days. I just
true.
changed out a few cards for a few of what you had. My deck's definitely different than what you were doing.
Yeah.
Just by a small margin. I don't know. I feel like the Kaguya deck is a great deck to go down there with.
Especially with the color fixing that it provides.
Yeah.
All of your stones are basically dual stones now, because white, green, and black, green. And so it's just like really, really nice. And there's moon mana stuck in there too. So the land base is like really nice.
Yeah, it's the moon mana really makes the deck flow really well. It allows green to be a viable part of the deck while allowing you to do a vast majority of other things. I feel like you get a small hiccup on your blue, which is something you told me going into changing up the mana base. But I'm also going to be changing the mana base from what you had initially anyways. Mm-hmm. So I think there's ways to correct it still. I don't know. You playing with Shion, which is a similar deck to what we're playing right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It has the potential to like pop a lot faster than Kaguya. But at the same time, it has the potential to kind of fall on its face.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's definitely more combo-y than Kaguya. Kaguya is definitely way more control, like kind of patient. Consistent. Yeah, and pretty consistent. Definitely, I mean, Shion can be consistent, just not necessarily my build, just because it's like, flash out everything as fast as possible. But, those strategies could easily be destroyed if you're playing against the right person.
Right.
Shion's really strong, though. She's kind
still
of a
good.
mini R&R.
Yeah. Her Regalia is amazing.
That's why everyone's playing her Regalia without playing Shion.
I think it's so funny. That was like the one Regalia everyone was just like, oh, this is probably the worst one. And ends up being the best. And that was the same thing said about Bow also. Everyone was like, Bow
for the
sucks.
Hydromonica?
Yeah, Hydromonica.
I find it... Okay, so it serves a purpose, yes. I like the tutor every now and then. It's really nice at the end of turn. To say it's the best... I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Levitain is still better.
No, like in the new ones.
Oh, in the new ones. Gotcha.
Oh, the new ones.
I'm totally paying attention. Maybe. It might be.
Kaguya's Regalia might be better, but...
Apollo gives you flying.
I would say Apollo allows you to kick out so much more because it allows Awakenings to essentially be free in your deck. It allows you to flip Kaguya for cheaper. It's really powerful. Resonator. Yeah. And the bouncing resonator happens more often than searching for a card. Although being able to discard, being a Glefner style effect is really relevant. I think it has its place in more decks because the Apollo is definitely more either super aggressive rulers that just want to be flying or for Kaguya herself. Primogenitor's Regalia, I think, has yet to really find its home, but that one's going to be really powerful.
Yeah, it'll probably find its home eventually.
The Ryoma deck.
Yeah. I mean, cool. The Evolution, if Evolution was a better mechanic, it would definitely have a home there.
Yeah.
Because, it would be so broken if, those beasts didn't have to discard beasts or, other, stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a few janky ways that runs. However, shift is going to be a thing soon.
Shift.
It could work for shift.
There's there's definitely going to be more potential for it in the long run. I think there's a lot of decks right now, so it's really hard to figure out what exactly to be playing. I think your two main decks to really watch out for right now is going to be the Kaguya and Sylvia decks, though. I think those are two of the bigger, stronger ones.
Maybe in our meta, because no one's playing R&R Necrolance right now.
Well,
Locally.
okay, yeah, R&R and Necrolance is a thing. I just feel like those two decks can do a lot of work and aren't being played that much.
I think Sylvia
I'm looking for more of the
beats
under.
Necrolance.
Yeah, I think that too.
But Necrolance has topped more than Sylvia has, so I'm not
Because
sure
consistency in R&R...
And consistency with Sylvia, though.
I think it's because Necrolance
The
has the
system.
potential to side in like barriers and stuff like that, where Sylvia tends to have a more straightforward mana base, just be way more aggressive. But.
And I'm mainly talking about decks that are coming from underneath. I'm not talking about the consistent meta deck that we're looking at. I'm more or less looking at what is outside of the top 8 that's going to be coming in.
Sylvia's been seeing at least one top 8, one spot in the top 8 every time. Kaguya has seen some top 8s.
Yeah.
Not like
But
any
not
major
firsts.
tournaments.
Yeah.
It got first in one turn. That was the deck that your guys has actually based your decks off of. You guys don't have the same exact deck, but that was your initial base.
His initial.
Yeah, his initial, and your initial was his.
No, yes, I'm basing it similar to it, but I was playing a Kaguya deck that was based off of my Kaguya from the original format before Swifted.
A bit more Awakening.
Yeah, I do miss a little bit more Awakening. Although my sideboard is more towards that, designed to hit red decks a little bit better.
Yeah.
Going back to my old version of it. The Awakening and being able to flip your ruler is very, very strong.
Well, speaking of diverse metas, there was a very interesting tournament.
In Malaysia?
Yeah, Malaysia had a very interesting turnout. So before we get started, they only had 19 players. So not a very representative base of players.
Almost half of them, about a little less than a half of them got into top 8.
Well, yeah,
so that's really interesting.
And apparently only, if I heard correctly, only 3 or 4 of them even played Reflect Refrain, and out of those, only 2 of them played Necrolance.
Okay.
So a Dark Alice got first place, which is very surprising.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And then a Necrolance got second place. So it beat a Necrolance.
So that does mean it definitely had to beat a Necrolance because it got second?
Yes.
Because I was actually wondering, before I actually heard the ordering of who was in second place, I was just wondering if it was possible lucking out with pairings. Because when you have that small of a grouping, you're not going to hit meta more often.
You're going to play like everybody.
That
small of pairings?
What is that, like 6 rounds
four,
or something?
3, 4, 5, 6 rounds.
Yeah,
like that.
so you have less rounds. You don't play everybody. You can luck out
You
with
play
pairings.
6 people, and then you're going to play, and then if you go into top 8 and go to the finals, you play.
Do you think they read score for finals the next? I don't think they do. I think they do a single tournament all the way through.
Oh, you think it's just one?
Might. I don't know how they do it. I don't. You'd have to ask the TOs on that. Tournaments can run dramatically different. This isn't a regulated setup for tournaments. It's not like in Magic where you're guaranteed a day 2. There's this amount of stuff for it. Although Magic GPs, I am seriously sorry for anybody who's playing in those right now. They just changed up how that's actually done. This is not a Magic podcast, and I get that, but their new system really screws over a lot of people. Although we don't have anything better in Force of Will right now, but that's mainly because of our size. We're just not big enough.
Yeah.
And for anybody who's wondering what happened with the Magic one, they now allow just twice as many people into the day 2, which floods the amount of people that you play against and screws up your score and ranking by a crap ton. And it makes this really weird day 2 where there's a ton of people who don't make a profit off of it, because Magic, you actually will end up making money when you're in top 64, and as long as there's only 100 and some odd players, you're almost guaranteed to get a slot somewhere. But now there's another 8 rounds with almost 500 people, and it's just a weird chaotic mess. I don't like the way that they're doing those right now. I'm kind of glad I'm not playing Magic professionally right now. That's kind of a scary. I don't know. No day 2 for that way. So there's not guaranteed a day 2 for Force of Will is the long about story that I'm getting around for this, and that's actually something they've extended to people in the past. And for one tournament where they actually were like, if this affects anybody, we'll give you guys a refund for your plane ticket and things like that. We've had weird announcements for that. So that's kind of weird that, I mean, there's not regulation with TOs on how to run these events yet.
Okay.
Also, judging staff is through that judging program, which is nice that it's a secondary person doing the judging program.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start rambling here, so I'm going to stop for a minute and let's get back to what we're actually talking about. Sorry, guys. Off on a tangent. So, Dark Alice, though.
Yeah.
All the way back to that part of the conversation. I'm curious to see what the deck list.
It's almost all black. I think it does some
Yeah.
space times.
It ran 4, I think. It ran 2 Dark Farias, which I think are really interesting because it has been underperforming for me.
Mm-hmm.
It ran 4 Soul Hunts.
No, it ran 3.
It ran 3.
Mm-hmm.
Was there any like scorn of Dark Alice?
Yeah, there's 2 scorns, and there's 2 of that instant spell that killed something with 400 or less attack.
Unseen Pressure.
Yeah, unseen pressure.
Wow, that's not something I'd expect to see.
Well, it's good if you're going first against an aggro deck. So if they play their Gwen, you can kill it before it uses its sack ability.
Right. Okay.
And it can kill other little things, but
it still seems a little.
it's still a little
lackluster.
situational. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but I mean, it could side into Gil Lapis, which is pretty handy against most decks. Like, I mean, I think Gil's a pretty good counter to Kaguya, right? Because it can counter the God's Art and stuff for just 1 moon or something like that.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, Gil Lapis has some pretty good abilities on him. I don't know if we're going to see a deck with him, though.
No.
Topping anytime soon.
Probably not.
Which is funny because going into this, he was definitely one of the things that everybody said was like the sky was falling over.
I mean,
Which
in Vegas there was a Gil deck at the top tables for quite a while. I don't think it just made it into the top 8. But it was pretty up there.
8, no.
It was a control deck that was to be feared, as some people said. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, but other than that, like the rest of the top 8 were there. Every ruler was different for the top 8. It was very cool. There was a Blazer, definitely. There was a Kaguya,
In Arla,
a Gil.
Shion?
No, I don't
No,
think
Shion
Shion was part of it. But Prisia made it too.
Prisia Huanglong.
Yeah, Prisia Long.
I'm really curious to see where Valentina's going to fit in to a lot of tournaments before we get the new
2.0?
cards. Yeah, the newest one.
The Regalia one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
She seems really strong in a weird way, but obviously she's not putting out results somehow. I don't play with her. I don't like her.
I think she's that ruler that's like she's good, but she's not good enough. Yeah. But she's really good against the inexperienced player.
Okay.
This is what I've noticed. It's like she comes off as intimidating.
Yeah, Dawn really good against.
I think it's almost more of like an intimidation factor. At least in my experience,
Okay.
It comes off as like an intimidation factor.
I haven't played one
almost.
in a while.
You haven't?
I the last one that I played against was months ago. I've not been paired against one in a while, so it's one of those things where I remember beating them with other decks I've played. I've never had a problem with them, so I don't know what the. I'm going to point you out on this one. You lost to one today, and I don't know what you weren't able to tell me exactly why you lost, except for you couldn't flip fast enough, or that.
I mean, okay, so I played Kaguya, and it's 5-color control Kaguya.
Mm-hmm.
4-color because I'm not playing red. But if they land elves, I'm not playing any Wall of Winds. So if they can just freely play their elves and then just get mana, then I can't do anything about that.
That's why I like my
even if I
better.
kill some of them, like I can kill them with their space-time anomaly, but that's turn 2 at best.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get the black-blue perfectly every time. So it's kind of really hard to deal with that.
Okay.
The easy way to do it is just to get 2 Apollos and flip turn 2, and then you just win at that point. Because you just cancel their activateds, and it's pretty easy. But
Seems all.
if you can't
seems
deal
good.
with the Mana Elves and Blessing of Yggdrasil, and they ramp up to 4 mana, than
Yeah.
God's Art Every Turn, even if you tap it down with Shining Strike or Holy Moon.
Okay.
It's just hard to deal with.
No, yeah, I think Valentina 2.0. I think there's a lot of tools out there that you can use against her, but
Yeah.
if you come ill-prepared, or if you just kind of freak out...
Yeah, we've lost
You're
a
gonna
couple of
probably-
things that were really good against her, though, which
Oh, yeah,
I do
like,
understand. Like Bloody Snow White was my favorite answer.
Yeah, and then, the Red-Black,
Uh,
Flame of the Outer World. But yeah, I mean, but there's still good answers. You know, Barrier's still strong. Death Scythe is always good. You had said that Moon Edition. Kaguya can stop her. You know, there's answers out there.
Okay. Well, it's definitely a diverse meta, which is awesome. I'm super excited to be playing with... Well, I won't be playing, but getting to see a diverse meta right now, considering people, you know... It seemed like Necrolance was really flooding the market as soon as the pre-mature
it might
rotation
still...
occurred.
I mean, we have definitely a different meta than Malaysia does.
True.
So.
There
Yeah.
hasn't been an AGP here that's been...
Well, this weekend,
close to
this
it.
coming weekend, Illinois, I believe. It's...
Collinsville?
Is that Collinsville, Illinois? I'm sorry if we're getting it wrong.
I don't
Pretty
know.
it's
Pretty...
Illinois.
No. Something that starts with the C. Yeah.
But yeah, that will be the first like big tournament in the U.S. and we'll get to see exactly what the results are
Cool.
before
And
we go to
that's-
L.A.
I don't... no.
R&R Necrolance?
Maybe.
Well, there's definitely going to be at least one in the top 8, definitely. But I'm not really ready to take on bets on this one.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be as
don't
diverse
know.
as we're kind of hoping it's going to be.
This is when our like smoothie bets kind of really come into
I
effect.
mean, the smoothie bets, for people who haven't seen those, we have videos in the past where we've bet smoothies with disgusting ingredients to be drunk, or words. We have to drink them when we lose the bets, which the final date for them is all the deck lists leading up to Worlds, and Worlds included. And that's when that matters, which is still a little bit away, which is... actually, if we want to shift over that really quick, we actually got some cool announcements about Worlds. First off, if you've got a ticket to Worlds, you now also got a free ticket to the expo thingy that's going on in the same town.
something like that. It's
Yeah,
one
it's
of the big
like an anime type
big
thing.
cons coming on.
Right, which isn't that important, but one thing that is important is that Force of Will have a panel there where they're talking about all 5, or is it 5 movies? 5 or 6 movies that they're doing, which are all going to be shorts, which is really cool. We've talked about that in the past, but it's just cool to get more confirmation about that and know that they're actually going to be releasing more info about that really, really soon. So we probably will get one as soon as next year, as I'm guessing, or late this year. We'll have a Force of Will cartoon movie anime popping out, which is awesome. And then one more announcement about it is, and this is what I'm super excited about, is the Force of Will online game
Client. Yeah.
client. And it's going to be free to play. I don't know what that exactly means. I mean, Magic the Gathering Online is technically free to play, so we all know what that looks like. It's disgusting. Please pay all the money for tickets.
It's not even free to play because you have to buy it.
No, it's free to play. The
You
client's
have to
completely
pay
free.
for the initial cards.
You have to pay $14 for a starter thingy. However, you can go on and start drafting if you want, or play.
You
the
need to
Phantom
buy
events.
that 14. You need to.
Is
pay
that a new thing?
I think that
For an account, you have to pay $14.
yeah, and it gives you all those cards,
I don't think I ever did that.
and then
Probably
it gives
you
you
just
those
didn't
10
remember.
free drafts also
Yeah, for
There's any free drafts now?
for beginners. It's like
I
beginner
really didn't do any of
drafts.
this. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I joined long before there were shadow events or anything like that
Oh,
existed. I've been playing Magic Online since I started playing Magic. So I don't remember what occurred back in those days.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the Wild Wests of Magic. No. Although anything better than what Magic the Gathering Online is would be awesome. I'm super...
It's probably
excited
going
for
to
it.
be really terrible, but the fact that they're trying this out so early, I think, is really awesome.
I mean, it might not be terrible. I mean, that's just...
No, they're way too small. They're going to have so many problems. But I mean, that's not a bad thing.
No,
though.
I'm just trying to think of like.
I mean, I don't want to get my hopes up for something perfect. You know, it's not gonna. It's probably not gonna be great. I mean, if I set the bar low and they, you're great. But
so that's a technique to go after.
I mean, I'm just gonna. I would smoothly bet saying like it's not gonna be that good.
Better or worse than Magic Online?
What do you? I guess what is your problem with Magic Online? Just the fact that you have to pay, or like the way it
interacts. It's got a lot of buggy, weird problems.
Okay,
and also just
I think it'll initially be worse.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if they fixed it to be like quote unquote like the perfect online.
Worse than
as long as I don't time walk myself. Just kidding.
Worse than MTGO?
Yeah.
I mean, depends on how they're doing it. They set up like a clock.
See, okay, so really quick.
Depends on how casual it is.
Once again, to get back on the whole like Magic train, because I keep jumping on this thing all the time. Sorry, guys. Really apologize about that. But Magic the Gathering Duels of the Planeswalkers is actually a better system than Magic the Gathering Online.
Yeah.
Because it, okay, not the new one, an older one, like say 2013. That one wasn't bug ridden. It didn't just screw you all the time. It was smooth. It was consistent. If they could just make it
like all the broken decks, though.
Hey, Nicol Bolas would just like face hug you to death.
That was so hard. So hard to beat that game, dude.
Oh man! But the system was fluent and ongoing. Like if they could design something like that and Magic, why the hell does Magic Online suck so bad? I know you guys are moving to Magic Next whenever the hell that comes out, if that ever comes out, and I don't care about it, but I just want something that's similar to like the Duels of Planeswalker or Hearthstone. Just kidding. Just that cleanness.
It's really hard because it's such a complicated game and there's so many mechanics.
Yeah,
that making a smooth.
There's so many wording issues and stuff that it's just gonna be everywhere unless they somehow like redid the wording on cards to make it just fit better.
The nice thing about online is they can immediately errata cards and have an update for them, as opposed to Paper Magic where there's an errata and you only know about it by go hunting it down on the forum.
To be honest, if it was a good system and there was a ranking on it, I would troll it so hard just to get to the top leaderboards.
Oh yeah, no. The moment that this comes out, even it being like slightly buggy, I'm still gonna be playing the crud out of it just to like try to spike on it.
I mean, I'm still gonna play it too, but
yeah.
I'm ready for just one of the worst experiences.
I mean, I have faith. I mean, Untap is a great way to play for Will Online.
I am not scared about the fact that it's going to eventually be good.
Yeah.
But the initial, like, beta or whatever the heck they're going to call it, it's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Because
I have some faith.
So many people are gonna flood it when it first comes out. Like it's not even gonna like.
Is it though?
Start.
There's only like 2,000 people on their Facebook page.
I mean, first of all, we flood the dang forum app page. Like I can't even get on the forum thing for a whole 24 hours just because there's too many dang people visiting that.
That might be a problem.
Thing. But that's just a little app where all you just type in your name and address.
Ooh, and what if they don't do region servers?
Exactly. We might be playing someone from wherever. Like,
I mean, region servers are only applying again to like MMORPGs where lag.
No, region servers exist on MTGO. You don't get played against foreign players because of language barriers.
But there's language barriers, but there's lag intensity for most of the MMORPGs. And like Magic the Gathering is big enough to do that.
Yeah, I'm not saying like it's a bad thing. I'm more than happy to play against anybody. I'm just saying that it can be a little bit, as a new player coming in, just in a sea of people that doesn't speak his language. I mean, it's going to be more accessible for people, but at the same time, it's just a problem that people have when they jump into games on Nintendo. Really jumping out on stuff on here, but people have a hard time staying committed into games or communities online because they're flooded with a foreign group on there. This usually applies to just the game is usually so server heavy in Japan and compared to here in the States. You jump on to Splatoon and you've got maybe one other English guy on there half the time. Yeah. And your teammates aren't able to communicate with you. That kind of translates over to this.
Sure. But they can easily do like 3 different servers in Japan just designated to different languages.
Or this is a company with only 10 people in it, though. They're doing so many other different things at once. Like, you guys have to understand that they're trying to satisfy us in way too many ways and forms.
I know, this is something we probably shouldn't talk or even worry about, but it's something that I just want to talk about in just a general sense in hopes that they do and things like that. What they could do is like in Hearthstone where there is no chat dialogue and you only get the little speech bubble that pops up. Mm-hmm. That actually solves like language barriers right there.
But I like talking to my opponent. Community and whatnot.
I do too. It's just, it's one of those things
you
where...
and your dog too.
It stops people from... You viewers are all awesome. You're amazing. And most people in Force of Will are amazing. Thank you all for supporting us and watching us. But most people are crap. Not you guys, though. You guys are awesome. But most people are crap. And being online is the anonymity. People are crap and they're racist and they're horrible and they're going to say things and it's just going to be a crap show if we really let it go wild with all the region servers, or no region servers and things like that. I'm not saying that we inherently are going to do that, but there's going to be people out there that are just crap. Also, I believe there's some U.S. laws against that for because terrorists will communicate through video games a lot of times when they're not server region locked. That used to happen in WoW all the time. Real thing. Look it up. Yeah, people would go on to WoW and just type in the chat thing. And would just talk about all the things that communicate back and forth because FBI couldn't track them.
It's also a great way to launder money.
Mm-hmm.
Just through WoW, MapleStory.
Just it's a huge thing. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
So other random problems, yay! Ooh. Either way, back on happier notes. Besides all that stuff, we also got. I know we said we were done with spoilers, but we got one more card for you guys. And who doesn't like Sensei Divining Top? I love that card.
It's a pretty good card.
But would you play it for 4 mana, but it draws you a card when it enters play?
Probably not. Non-enforceable. 4 mana is a lot.
Yeah, it's a little bad. So we don't know the name of this card, but it is green. It's 2 wind, 2 colorless.
It's an elf.
It's an elf. When it enters play, it draws you a card. When it leaves play, it draws you a card. It has a weird, funky ability where you pay 1 moon, return it to the top of your deck, then you may organize them, the top 3, in any order you want. That's the best that I can figure out how that's translated. As back when Reflect and Refrain happened, we nailed that translation perfectly. So I don't think I'm too off on this one. Of course, I'm just using Google Translate and my crappy knowledge of Japanese, which is terrible. But it seems like that's what the card does, which seems good, but 4 mana to play, 1 mana to activate, or will, sorry guys, doesn't seem like it's going to see too much play, but it does draw you a card. Which is a lot less relevant in this game.
It's one of the card that pluses, like Witch's Dagger. Witch's Dagger made top 8, which is kind of cool. Yeah. But in other words, it's plussing you a card because it's one card that draws you a card.
Yeah.
And those are always relevant in the game. And
the stats on it are 600, 800, right?
I think it's a 7/9.
Or 7/9, something.
It might
There's
be a
stats, they don't apply for a 4-drop. They're basically terrible.
I wouldn't say they're terrible, but
they're like a 3-drop stats.
Yeah.
But for this ability, I understand why. Drawing you 2 cards at minimum is really great. If you banish this card, what's the word for it? Remove it from game. There's no exile. Banishing is sacrificing. No matter how this card leaves play, it's going to draw you another card. So that means that you play it, you draw a card, it draws you a card. That alone is good. But is it good enough to see play? I don't know. This random ability to set it on top. Now, since this is on creature, if it blocked and damage did not go through after you put it on top, this card would be nuts. I would play the crap out of this. But because damage still goes through, I don't want to play this.
That's a good point.
It would be an amazing card if you could put it back on at instant speed and not take the damage.
It might see some play in Wanderer, potentially. It's pretty abusable with flicker abilities.
Yeah,
that's really good.
I mean, in even Wanderer, I guess you don't really have to worry about Valhalla cards, so I guess it's weird.
No, it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't think you should count it out yet.
I think in a singleton format, this card is going to see a ton of play if we ever get around to devising some sort of singleton play.
I think we need way more clusters to come out before
that's
ever
cards like this are what make it look fun to play singleton. Yeah.
So I have a question. Is the moon mana to put at the activated ability, is the cost of doing that, putting it on top?
As far as I can tell is you pay and then it goes on top, then you adjust the cards.
No, okay, so you pay first. Do you just pay the moon, or do you pay the moon and putting it on top? Because if you don't,
it says moon and then
okay, so
and then it's got a mark. So
banish it somehow. You still draw a card, but you don't have to put
you
that
draw
on top.
it, right?
No. So you pay the ability, it leaves play, draw a card, put it on top.
Okay.
And then
you don't have to put it on top.
If it's part of the cost, wouldn't you draw it?
No.
Because you can
draw a card before it
so you can abuse it by like bouncing it to your hand, then you're just drawing 2 cards, and then you can play it again and draw 3 cards.
Yes,
without having to put it on top of
what is that? That's 5 will?
Sure, but you don't have to play it again. It's just a draw.
Right.
Draw 2 with the bounce.
It's tough. There's other cards that are just a little bit better than this right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's a great card, but I wouldn't count this card out.
No, I like this card. Also, we do need the correct text on this. This isn't like R&R where it was a little bit more linear with the abilities and easier to read. Also, I'm not looking at it right now, so I can't make these judgment calls. If I had it pulled up, I would actually. But still, I could infer more if it was in front of me right now and I was looking at it, because then I could see where the symbols are posted and what triggers when. That's more relevant on deciding how a card will play once translated than anything else, because that doesn't change.
Yeah.
Unless they've messed up again, which has happened with Izanami and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, what the final text of this card could be is, who knows, it might get eroded. Which also, really quick side note, because I love going on tangents, is Izanami, has the second printing of that card been out yet? I haven't seen somebody with the...
I don't think there's a second.
They were never going to do that.
They're never going to have the errata version of it?
Yeah.
I thought I heard something about them going to have a reprint of it.
I didn't hear about it.
Which way? The card isn't that good to see play right now, so I don't really worry about it. Otherwise, I'd be like, give me a promo.
Deck.
Yeah.
There was 2. I think it's a good card.
I think it's not a bad card. I think it just is...
It's not there yet.
Yeah. And it costs a lot to do its abilities from the grave.
I mean, green, black, moon, to make them discard a card is not that bad. Plus Soul Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of gross.
And it is on curve, 600 for 2.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. We also have a little bit of information about Shift, which is always good to go over. I was confused about it. I know a few other people were confused about it. If you want full details on it, definitely check out the Force of Will main website, fowtcg.com. You can find all the information on there. That's their main website for anybody who hasn't known that already. Why wouldn't you? The thing that I want to talk about really quick is the fact that you can play either side from your hand.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So the side that's always up, whether it's removed from game, in your deck, in your hand, or in the graveyard, it's always referred to as the shift side. However, you may choose upon casting what side you are casting and pay that appropriate cost, which is something I didn't think they would do. I know that they put a cost on both sides. I thought maybe you would have to choose before you sleeved it. I don't know how you're going to do that. But this brings up a very important question is, are they going to have a token card for it? And if not, this means players will have to buy darker sleeves. This will come up with cheating a lot more. We see this in other games that have flip cards. If you don't have a token card to replace the flipped card, you do get a level of cheating that does occur in games. And even having that card doesn't mean that there won't be cheating, but it's easy to be like, no, judge, I have the proxy in my deck. These are the cards these are representing, and I'm not cheating by having see-through sleeves. That's important. Mm-hmm. And very important, since these back of the cards are black. Anything that's not black is obviously, different. It's easy to tell the difference between cards in your deck. Small problem that I foresee happening if they don't give us proxies.
I think the biggest problem is just people aren't going to read these rules and they're going to think they can do stuff. Like, I think, like this Priscia, for example, I bet some people are going to try to flash in the Valentina side when they're not allowed to. They're only allowed to flash in the Priscia side.
Yeah, off of a Ratatosker.
Because you have the Priscia side showing in your hand. Like, that's the side you're supposed to hold. But if you play that shift side for Valentina straight from your hand and try to flash it in with Ratatasker, I think that's an illegal play.
Yeah,
I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure.
No, it does actually say that in the
okay.
in the page. Which, once again, go read that just so that you know what's up. You can only effects and stuff that target things, cards in your hand, are only referring to the shift side.
Yeah.
So it is always the shift side, never the other side. But you can cast the other side if you want when casting.
And it may be the right choice.
Yeah, it might be the right choice. For a lot of these cards, it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of these cards, don't play them at all because they're the bad choice in the first place. And you made a bad deck. Just kidding. So that was just something I really want to touch on. Outside of that, I don't really have anything else that I know has gone on over the past week. If you guys want to fill me on anything
There's
else.
one thing I'd like to talk about or / discuss. So they said that the 5 starter decks for the Lapis cluster, they're all going to be unique cards, and they're not going to be printed into the Lapis cluster at all.
I hate all things for...
Okay, but this is the thing. So it's not going to be exactly like the A0 decks that we have.
Which is the dual deck?
Yeah, the dual decks.
Okay.
So they're going to... So what... what's his name? Jordan was saying was that you'll only need to buy one of each if you wanted to. You're not going to need to buy 2 to get a set of a certain card. So that's a good, right?
Kind of.
No, because that means you're going to buy 2 because you want to make multiple decks and things and stuff are going to occur. I like having multiple copies of every card.
So you like to have 8?
Copies. Yes, because I make multiple decks.
Okay.
And I give out. But that's besides the point. My point, really quick, is the dual deck, sure, you only need to buy 2 of those half the time. But that problem of the dual deck, where OP cards were, overpowered cards were printed in that thing, and you had to get that thing to play current meta.
Yeah.
That could happen with these.
It could.
And
It could.
To say that... Force of will. I love you. But you don't print enough product for me to sell to all my customers. When I sell out of 60 boxes on 1 week of your stuff and I can't get it in because the distributor has sold out of it and I can't get it back for some reason, whether it's the distributor fault or Force of Will's fault, I will... that hurts the community when they can't get the cards that they need and it's not openable in packs and there's no way to get them. That's a terrible idea.
Okay.
Dumb idea, Force of Will. Dumb.
I kind of like it because that means there's just going to be more rulers to play with.
So I like more cards. I like more cards. I like that there's more stuff going on. That's not the problem. The problem is that you can't get it in an alternate way. This is what happened with the dual deck. But the dual deck eventually got printed in the set, so people got access to the cards. But until that occurred, a lot of people couldn't get Lancelots, couldn't get Percivals. It hurt a lot of people. They couldn't get Levitanes, which was a huge part of the meta. And without that card, you just didn't get to play for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty angry with that, but I'm ready now.
So, right, we're ready now, but new players.
Yes.
So if I don't pre-order, what, do I have to order 500 of each color so that way I can have enough to sell to everybody? I mean, I sell through these way too fast.
Think about it. Like,
And players that won't play here will buy them.
every one of us, every player that's locals kind of regular is going to buy one of each because they kind of have to.
So today, I would have sold 100 of them.
Yeah, because there were 10 people.
Just from that alone. And then all the
50?
people who...
Yeah, we would have sold like 50 of them.
I was trying to say that there was more people here than there was.
So you'd probably still sell 100.
No, yeah. But, so, I have several players that would love to play with us that don't come here all the time, that have bought all the starters. I have random players that come in all the time that don't live here that want to buy starters. I have a ton of people that just collect stuff and want to buy all the starters. And I can't keep starters in stock. I finally got a restock of them, and they're already gone.
Really?
It's impossible to keep them in stock, and it's going to be even worse if they're unique. And I can't get packs for them. This is a terrible marketing idea. I mean, maybe it's a perfect marketing idea. You guys will make money. I will make less, and I will get yelled at constantly by my customers where I won't have the deck-winning card.
The store manager.
Well, no, it's just these cards are going to be worth a ton on the secondary market because you can't get them. It's the dual decks all over again. Lancelot was...
We don't know how good they are, though.
They just need to print one Lancelot in one of them. That's all they need to do. Not literally that card, but a card that's as good as one.
I'm sure they're going to print like one good card.
Right.
And there's going to be 4 of in that one pack.
Even if it's incidentally a common, it doesn't matter because they're all rare technically. You have to get that starter. If you want to play, you have to get it. And it doesn't really matter if we can all get it for the first year. What happens during the next year when the new dual deck came out and everybody still needed the old one because it hasn't rotated yet. And then it's the dual deck, like all the dual decks from Valhalla are expensive. And these dual decks are a little bit over MSRP. Do you really want to have to pay more because you came in late? And these ones are going to be unique, so they're going to cost even more since they're actually unique.
But I'm not a new player.
What if you have to pay like $30 just to get something, like one card out of this deck to play?
I mean, no.
And buy it on the second market is like $10 each.
I had to do that with the A0 decks. But,
right. I don't want that to happen for players. I don't want them to have to pay a ton of money for entry. This game shouldn't be about having that big of a barrier to enter the game.
I would argue that it already doesn't have that big of a barrier to enter in the game.
It doesn't. So why should we add one?
I don't know.
Anybody can sit down and start playing with a box of the newest set. I love that about this game.
I guess what I want more in this game is just more diversity in cards because we're just stuck in the Alice cluster with these current tournaments.
I really want more cards as well. I mean, maybe printing an extra 50 cards in your set, guys. I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Do what Pokemon does. They release a second set for the last 2 cards in each pack are of a separate set inside of your main set, and you got 2 sets in one set, and it's weird, but it works in Pokemon. I don't care how you have to do it.
Packs?
No. So in a pack of Pokemon cards, you can crack it, and then sometimes there's a second set inside of that set. So you're pulling cards from another set inside in the set that you're pulling.
That sounds dumb.
It's really dumb, but it allows you to get copies of a card that you weren't able to get otherwise. They're basically making sure.
What if you already have it and you're just like, oh, I just cracked.
So it's one of those things. You can buy the promotional box to get these cards where you're just like, here's all these cards in this promo box. There's 15 unique cards in this promo box. They're only here. But wait, you can also pull them randomly out of this pack as a way to make sure that the market doesn't, everybody has to buy this collector's tin. You can still get them in another set. Of course, it kills the price for them, but that's the point. They're purposely making sure people can always get the meta cards to play in their tournament. Pokemon is one of those things where if they print a good EX or a good card for their game, they put it in a collector's box for you. You can always get their cards. That's important, Force of Will. Remember that. You always want your players to be able to get your cards. Don't make stuff exclusive.
I mean, that's what they did for the starter decks. They printed all the good stuff inside this one starter deck. It lowered the price of everything, and it was so nice.
Yeah, it's amazing. I like the cheap price. I love how everything is, and it makes me to where I don't care. I buy all that stuff directly from them. I don't care about buying, in cards on the secondary market.
Yeah.
in this game because you just got them already. Like it's just one of those things. This
Store
game's
probably has
easy
them.
for easy entry. I don't want to ruin that with these starters.
I'm gonna see how it goes.
Thank you for ruining my day, Patrick. Just kidding.
I don't know. I'm pretty happy that they're coming. Those starter decks. I'm pretty excited. As an experienced shopper of Force of Will.
I mean, it's coming out in September, right?
Yeah, just make sure you get your decks, guys.
Is
If
it
you
really
want
coming
them.
out in September? When is the new set coming out?
September, I believe.
And
Yeah, we're
the newest
just
set-
gonna be hit with like Ben Golf and the new set and then like
have
When's
some
Battle for
cards.
Adaraktia coming out?
I don't know.
We're
I
so
think
good
it's-
at delivering the news that is relevant to
I
Force of
think
Will,
it's in
guys.
like July 7th or something like that. It's in
Yeah.
July at some time.
I don't
No,
know.
it's like the week. It's the week after our LA tournament. It's like the first weekend.
Right.
That's nice.
Right.
So I'm gonna get back from Norway and have new cards to play with. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
you
so
can't
broke.
pre-order
I'm not
them.
gonna be able to get them. Huh?
Can't pre-order them.
I can pre-order new stuff.
No one will hold
yeah,
them
you
for
can.
you.
I run a store.
Yeah, you can.
What are you talking
I
about?
don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm the one who ordered everything.
Because I thought you
Fourth
were going
of
to be
store.
gone or something.
I ordered all of this stuff like a month and some ago.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's our
I'm excited.
Thank you guys for watching. I'm your host, Jay Phillips, the guy who orders stuff in the store. Joined as always with
Don Bowie.
the guy who knows nothing about what I ordered in the store.
I don't work here.
He
I don't
works
do that.
here. He doesn't know anything. And
I'm Patrick Collins.
He
who doesn't work here. That was my line. Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.
Have a good one, guys.